everybody, and welcome to the Tough Luck Podcast. I'm Megan, and this is Christine.
Hi.
My friend. Hey, Christine, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. I'm just doing a podcast with you. No big deal.
Thanks for having me over.
Yeah.
I love the outside today. It's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like an overcast day, which is good lighting.
Oh yeah, definitely. You don't want that super harsh sunlight when you're trying to do something outside,
I know.
like video and stuff.
Oh, I know, and we often do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so nice. Just kind of, this will look fantastic with everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know, Christine is an artist.
Yes, I am.
And she has her own little business here. Just kind of
Studio.
Studio. Yeah, I mean, it's, I guess what is, it's kind of a business, kind of also, just
try to sell the art. That's the point, but it's also a nice place to have to work. So.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, I knew Christine. We first met in yoga, and I know that a lot of you are here for yoga reasons. But today we're actually going to kind of dabble into art, but then also tie in yoga a little bit. So we'll go ahead and get started here. What age did you start art?
So that's I don't know exactly the age, but I have some memories growing up. So I remember clearly I was sitting at, those little Tykes tables that you have. It's the yellow table with the blue edges and the red legs or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was sitting at one of those when I was a kid, and it wasn't too big or too small for me, so I was definitely little. And I had cut apart an Arizona iced tea can and made it into a little treasure chest, and I was using costume jewelry and just little odds and ends to make piles of treasure inside of it. So that one I remember really distinctly. I know in 5th grade I learned how to make a peace crane, so it's probably pretty young then, and I loved origami ever since. And then what really started me off in art and made me interested in art is when I was younger. I was in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and I had a big sister. Her name's Lonnie. She's wonderful. And we would meet every Sunday and hang out, and we would make art together because she was in interior design, and so it was something that we both loved. So we did origami. We would do little painting pottery things where you would paint your own pottery and then have it fired and take it home. And then we did little polymer clay things. So it's always been a part of my life as long as I can remember. So I don't have an age, but I do have very vivid memories of growing up with art.
Sounds like it was in your blood from the start, though. It was something that it wasn't necessarily you truly did have a passion for it, and it was something that it was a calling almost for you, I would say.
Yeah. It always seemed to work its way back into my life, and definitely happened, and it was a happy, good space whenever that was going on. It didn't matter if I was at Lonnie's house or upstairs in my room, just making things. It was it's good feels.
Yeah. Wow. I'm curious. What was your most favorite cherished memory you did art wise? I know this is not a question I prepared you for.
Let's see. So I guess one of the best memories is my thesis piece from grad school. So I made a really enormous piece of paper out of feminine products, and it was 32 feet long by 7.5 feet tall, and it was in the CAC. It was just this big scroll of paper that was just enormous, and the CAC is big. It's a huge museum, and it's got tall ceilings, and my piece was hanging in there, and it divided the space in two. And so it was kind of it was Richard Serra-esque, where you would walk around the piece, and it created this little environment for you to kind of just have your own space to think and just be with the art. So that was one of the best things, because the thesis show, my dad was there, my mom was there. I wish my sisters came, but I don't think they could. I think there was a work thing. But all the people that I loved were there, and they were there supporting me, and then all of my classmates, we all had our pieces up, and so we had this whole there's just this sense of ownership of this is our final big show together, and it's in this awesome space, and we took all this time and energy to produce this show, and it was a really beautiful time. I stayed until pretty much everyone else was gone, and then we all find ourselves laying on the floor looking at my friend Matt's piece, because he had these pieces of wood hanging from the ceiling that were slightly moving, and laying on the ground looking up at that, kind of experiencing art in a whole new way. So it was a lot of fun.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, dang, we're getting off to a good start here. I'm like, there's some great memories.
Hmm.
So I wanted to know, when did you know that you wanted to become an artist professionally?
Um, I think grad school did it because like I went to undergrad for art education because like I love art and I want to be an artist full time. That would be like the end game, um, or one of the end games. But that's not going to pay my bills or get me health insurance. So being an art teacher was a little bit smarter because you get the summers off, so you can kind of work on your work, and you also get off work super early. So like you can also do things after school if you need to. That just became like, okay, I'm gonna do this and then also be an artist. So I think grad school though, after I went to Kent State for my undergrad, I was not ready to be in the classroom. Kind of terrified me a little bit. So I was applying to grad schools because I also feel like I didn't get enough art experience when I was in undergrad. So then I'm in grad school and I'm like the only person who has a bachelor's in art education. Everyone else has a bachelor's in fine art. So like I learned a lot from my friends in my class and from my teachers, but I definitely felt like I started off like like a little bit at a disadvantage. But that's okay because like that's how you got to learn and grow and you got to start somewhere. So I made like an entire semester of terrible art, and I'm glad I did it because I had to go through those processes and go through those pieces to actually get to where I'm at now. And then I found paper making because it was something I knew how to do from art ed. Because it's easy, you just like blend up paper and like scoop it with a screen. But it was also something that like nobody else was doing, and I could do in my studio. And I wasn't like I didn't rely on a kiln to fire clay. I didn't rely on like oil paint to like add the color to things. I really just had like a bunch of recyclable materials and a blender and a sink. So that kind of came around in grad school, and like everything changed after that. I was like, I really like this. This is fun.
Wow, like, it's funny because you would think normally art is kind of, sometimes it's not the most eco-friendly thing,
Mm-hmm.
but the way you're doing it,
Yes.
using recycled materials, is very eco-friendly. And
Oh my God, Spectrum sent me an email the other day saying they enrolled me in paperless billing, and I'm so mad about it. I'm like, how dare you? I was using those bills to blend up. They had really pretty blue on them too.
you're like, wait, don't do,
I know.
don't take away that
I don't want to
paper.
call them though, so I'm not gonna
Just
fix it.
don't
But I
fix
was
it.
like, darn it, I liked your bills.
Don't worry, we have plenty of it here. I get so much
Yeah.
mail, and I
Well,
know.
those receipts that you gave me helped.
Yeah, I got so. Yeah, I have so many random sheets of paper, and it's just coming from nowhere. Really,
Mhm.
thanks a lot. I don't even know where it's coming from, but it's. Yeah, we
that's-
need to get rid of that.
that's junk.
I wish unless to give it to you, that would be my only reason to have that paper. But other
Yeah.
than that, I don't need it.
Mhm.
So, describe your style of art.
So I make paper. I'm a paper maker. So it's not paper mache or like collage, but like I literally take paper that nobody wants, put it in a blender with water, and blend it up. And then I put it in a big giant vat of water and scoop it with a screen. So like there's this process that goes into it. So I'm really process heavy because there's like a part where you make the paper where it's wet, and then you can do some manipulation after it's on the board, like with color or like sculpting it or something like that. But then there's also when paper dries that you can do a lot with. So like adding, you can like collage it on top of itself. So like I make these really pretty ladies and I have them on a background so they're not like all by themselves. Or I put a piece of my typewriter and type on it. You can also do some cool stuff with some natural materials, and then like 3D printer has opened up a whole new realm of like making molds for paper.
Yeah, talk about your 3D printer stuff.
Um,
That's pretty cool. You have
yeah.
the shelves that you made.
Oh well,
and-
those aren't paper, but like
I
so
know.
I was, but
I
yeah,
know.
I do
Sorry.
I do like the 3D printer, but I was printing like words and like molds that I could put the paper over top of, so that it would get that shape, or it would get that word. So that's been kind of fun, and then it's nice because you don't actually need to have the print turn out well. You just need it to like exist. It can look like crap, but like as long as it says what it needs to say or looks like what it needs to look like, it doesn't matter if it's got a big old elephant foot at the bottom of it. It'll work for a mold.
I love your art because it's just the things that you write on there. It's just like so funny to me. Like your art is funny, which
Oh.
is like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you got like, well, the lettering specifically,
Mhm.
like just some of the phrases that you write on there. I'm like, this is great. Like I'm like, it made me feel good to see it. You know what I mean?
Well, I like the like phrases that like phonetically sound pleasing, because then when you say them out loud, it's like that sounds really nice, but maybe whoever is reading it is coming up with their own connection of what it actually means. So not having like super heavy meaning laid into it to begin with, just kind of like keeping it light, so it maybe means something different to me than it means to somebody else.
Yeah, maybe I'm just I'm just a funny person or something.
Yeah, like I'm glad that it brings you. I mean, I never thought of that right off the top of my head. I also like to take poems on it, so like those people interpret in different ways. So like I like having people kind of bring a piece of themselves into the reading experience.
Right.
But I would really describe my work as being like very delicate and soft. Even the colors that I use, I don't use anything that's super like glaring. I like my cool colors, my blues, greens, and purples, and plus some pinks in there. I need to do some more oranges and yellows, but like all of my boards are blue right now.
You don't have to.
I probably won't.
Yeah. You could
I try.
You have. It's all you. It's just.
Sometimes the green comes in with the yellow a little bit.
Green just came out, actually.
Yeah, it did.
It just popped out of here.
When I said green, oh my god, I summoned it.
Oh.
But yeah, very delicate, soft. I think it's very lovely. I find paper to be like such a pretty thing, and it has like such lovely edges, and I just try to like make my whole work emulate that. So that's my style, if I had to say style.
Yeah, absolutely. Has your yoga practice influenced your art?
Yeah, I did think about that one when you first asked that to me. So I think it influences my art in a way of like, okay, so I want my work, or I try to make my work about taking this pause or taking this moment. There's other things that kind of show up in there, like like some women's issues and stuff like that. But like for the most part, like I want to make something that people stop and take a moment to like look at, think about, maybe consider how it's made, the process behind it, what it's made of. Just all of these little like material qualities of the actual paper. So like we're so in our heads in this world today, like we're going from here to here to here, bouncing around, moving so fast. Like that's like the whole thing that people do is like, how much can I accomplish in a day? We don't really take enough time like for ourselves to like pause and take a break and take a moment. And so I want my work to invite the viewer to do that, to just take a moment to like look and be in a different headspace. Yoga does that for me. Like when I'm practicing yoga, like I could be listening to an audiobook, but in all reality, I'm not really hearing what they're saying, because I'm more focused on like breathing and like, the movements and like where like, my feet are, if I'm applying pressure in the right way. So it becomes this moment that you take for yourself, like this pause in your day, this break. And so I like how those two things relate to each other. And then also, I feel like I can't accomplish anything without practicing yoga in the morning. Like,
same.
It's this like little, I don't know. It's like, brushing your teeth in the morning or something like that. Like it's just that thing that you need to do to be able to like get through the rest of your day. So if I didn't practice yoga, I probably would never make art.
That's fair enough. Like, I'm the same way. I have, my yoga practice. I don't do it as much as I should. I probably do it less, actually, now that I'm teaching, which is funny to admit. But it's, like, sometimes hard to... It's interesting because I would religiously do it every day when I had more of, like, a place that I would go to a lot, but now that I kind of go back and forth from home to work to everything, I don't do it as much. So anyway, it's just kind of...
I try to do it like, so I try to do it in the morning before school.
That's good.
It doesn't always happen, but like I do like try to get up early. There's a little short video that it's like 10 minutes and it's like a nice morning one, and I totally modify it. Like I literally just have the thing on for pacing. Like I don't actually, but I totally modify everything because it's too light for me. So I want to like a little bit more of a stretch in the morning. But if I like do that little 10-minute in the morning, like it really does change my day. I probably need to get up earlier. I think that would help improve like everything. But doing yoga after school at the end of the day, when I come home, is really nice because like sometimes you get stuck on things, like there's an interaction that maybe you're thinking about and like you wish went differently, or maybe like I'm stuck on like I didn't know how to help a kid with what they wanted to achieve with their project, or like they weren't super excited about like my solution to a problem, a creative solution to a problem. So I'm trying to think of other ways around it. And you get stuck in that, and then you're just kind of like stuck at work. Like my job is yes being there in the classroom, but like if I'm at home thinking about it, I feel like I'm still working. And so like this is going to be my 8th year teaching. Like I know that I need to give myself a break. And so when I come home and practice yoga, it kind of like resets that. So then I'm not thinking about school and I'm not thinking about work, and I can go back to being me, and I can just focus on me and what I need, because like if I'm not 100%, I can't be 100% at school. And so I don't want to drain myself by like, sitting around until like 8 o'clock thinking about like, oh my god, I used that word instead of this other word when I was talking to this kid and they misunderstood me and everything is terrible. What is life? It's like, no, they probably didn't even notice that you used a different word.
They probably didn't, and it's like.
But yoga helps stop that.
It's yoga's beautiful because it's like you're not in that teacher mode anymore. You can kind of switch caps a little bit easier, and it sounds like it's good.
A nice little reset.
It's a little reset for you.
Because like, how am I supposed to work on things after school when I'm constantly thinking about what I just came from? So like, without yoga, like I said before, like I wouldn't be able to make art.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry to keep looking down.
No, you're good. That's what notes
did I ask you this one? What is a really important lesson art taught you?
Oh, okay.
Let's do this one.
This is mine. Okay, so creative problem solving. That is one of the things that I really love about art. It allows you to look at things from multiple perspectives and solve problems in ways that you wouldn't normally think of. So that's actually one of the fun things about being an artist, is like I feel like my brain works a little bit differently. So like presented with a challenge or an issue, and then you are trying to like, oh, how do I get color on this? Like I'm trying to figure out how to put color on something that like wouldn't typically hold color or whatever. Like, okay, so in undergrad I did these self-portraits, and they were all like really funny stereotypes, and like I took pictures of myself in different outfits of like, here's like this valley girl, and then here's like this goth chick, and it was just like a whole book of stereotype outfits and poses, and it was fun. I didn't really know what to do for my final, but the goal was to use a non-traditional material to draw with. So I chose makeup because I had a buttload of makeup I never used, and I was trying to do it on regular paper, and like nothing would stick. Like it would just like brush off. It wouldn't stay. Like you could kind of smudge it into the paper, but like it was just a pain in the. So I needed to come up with a solution to be able to use makeup, and so it became like, what paper do I use? Well, I found out rice paper that I had left over from printmaking is really porous, and it was the perfect surface to be able to get the makeup into it. And then it was super easy after that, because like, I'm going to use eyeliner to do my eyes, and I'm going to use like blush to add like, color to my face, and I'm going to use foundation to do like the skin tones.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it was a really fun book. My stepmom has it now. She keeps it nice and safe, and like I went through it the other day and like was taking pictures of it. And some of the portraits are definitely better than others, but I had also forgotten like I'm wearing clothes in these, and so I'm like, oh crap, I need to sit here and draw all these clothes and all these folds. And I was like, oh my god, my life is so hard. Like, why did I do this to myself? I decided to do 8 portraits and I'm wearing clothes in all of them. Well, then, creative problem solving comes about, and I'm like, wait, why don't I just use found objects to make the clothes? So, like, one of them I used tissue paper. Another one, I didn't like the skirt I was wearing in it anyway, so I just cut a piece of the skirt and attached the skirt to the paper.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I had some, like, broken jewelry, so, like, I even, like, stitched some jewelry on, like, chains and stuff on, like, the goth chick and stuff like that to make it, have that other layer of, just embellishment added onto it. So it was a really fun book, and I think my professor really liked it, but like no one else in my class wanted to go up to like look at it. They probably like, they'd be like, oh, she's so extra, because like you're supposed to do like one thing, and I ended up doing 8. But I had fun with it. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
It was a really good project for me, and like I also struggle with portraits, so I wanted to do something that would help me progress in that area. So
wow.
Yeah. Now I just print people and cast paper over top of them. So I don't but I still can do portraits.
But you can still do portraits.
Yeah.
I have one final little surprise for you.
Okay.
And it's critique my art.
Okay.
Look at this. Okay. Woo!
Oh yeah.
Oh
Okay,
my
so
God.
I saw this
It's
in
got
the living
some.
room.
This is the one I feel terrible about.
Why do
but-
you feel terrible about it though? Let me hear why you feel terrible about it.
Well, it started off red.
Mhm.
because I
Oh
was
yeah,
angry.
I can see that.
It was angry.
It's actually one of the things I like about it is
That's
it has
funny.
this red halo behind it. It's almost like the line. Anyway, continue. You were angry.
Yeah, I was mad at first, which maybe that's just something. I kind of just let my feelings out that day, and I think I slowly got less mad.
Yeah.
So what happened was the blues came out. Like, I didn't kind of have a real vision for it.
Yeah.
All I knew was that it was a self-portrait, and this was me back in, I'd say, high school.
So you think the process of painting this helped you?
It helped my, like, emotions. But as an art, like, I guess, what could I do to improve? Because I think there's some things I think.
So critiques aren't just about talking about things that need to be improved. Critiques are about talking about the piece in itself.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Well, yeah.
Also,
works.
being a teacher, I
Teacher.
cannot look at an art piece that is like a done finished art piece, or like actually has like effort and work put into it, and not say the good qualities of it. So we'll do the little compliment sandwich because I like that.
Cool.
So one thing I noticed immediately is I really like how you built up the like the lighter values on the face to help like give you that planar analysis to like sculpt the face. So where the chin comes forward, the cheeks come forward, and the forehead comes forward. It is this lighter value of yellow. And then you kind of actually added a little bit what looks like green in the areas that recede. So like right here in the cheeks, and then you have it in the eyes, and then like a little bit right here where it's like kind of going underneath the hair. So it's nice that you have these three values on the face because it makes the face makes it look like it has some dimension to it. That point, or bringing that point around the whole painting, you could actually do a little bit more of that where the arms are and even where the neck, because like when we have a neck here, we have like these parts, our little collarbones that stick up, and you could do more of like that kind of color here instead of the white. And then even kind of have it like set back a little bit more. We have that little hollow in our necks right here. And then in the shoulders, like you have it like nice and light on top, probably because that's where the light was hitting it, but then also moving this part more forward in space because that is like the closer part for our arms, and then having it kind of round out a little bit. You probably could get a little darker here to make your arms look like they're actually going back, and then even having like a little bit of more shadow there will help like just it look more dimensional. The other thing I like is
these aren't that bad. Like I was like, oh, this is horrible.
No.
But you're making me feel better.
You can also do the same thing with the hair. I like how you treated the hair kind of like two solid blocks of color, which is great for painting. Like people sometimes when they do painting, they are thinking of it's like a drawing, and so they like try to use the paint like a drawing tool. And I have an issue with doing that. I love painters, but it's so frustrating to paint. But painters, I love you guys. I really appreciate what you do, and I appreciate
Shout
your
out.
paintings. I'm just not one. I can teach it. I just can't. I just don't want to do it. Anyway. But like your hair has these nice color blocks here, and you can even bring like the lighter and darker values into your hair. So like you might have a little bit more lightness right here where it kind of rounds out, maybe a little bit of darkness in the part. I'm not sure where the light was hitting from in this photo, but like maybe it would be a little bit.
This was just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not even. Yeah.
So like
That
maybe
tells
even
you.
having a little bit of more lightness, like maybe on the outside, maybe a little bit more darkness down in here. But that would give the hair a more dimension like the face has. And then the last thing I like about this piece is like it doesn't look like any of these colors are like straight from the bottle. It looks like that they're all mixed, whether you mix them on the canvas or you mix them ahead of time. Like the colors straight from the bottle, like there's nothing like, I mean, like it's okay, but like it's not as good as on its own. Like I think colors always need other colors to help out, even if it's just a little bit of something to like mix your own color, and it looks more solid, looks better. It's kind of a more unique color. I always tell the kids at school, anybody can pick up that paint and use that color just straight from the bottle and like paint that flower that color, but like how is yours going to be different? Like maybe we add a little bit of purple to this, or a little bit of, you know, a little bit of white or something like that, and just like see what it looks like play around with the paint. Paint's a fun material, so like you should, that's a part of it, is mixing paint. I do like the red. I was noticing that,
That's
and I
so
didn't
funny.
know if that was intentional.
That was like, oh, I better cover this up, and I didn't do it fully. And now that it's there, I'm like, oh yeah, because I was a little mad that day.
There's this cat painting. I need to show you this video that this chick did this cat painting. I saw it on Reddit. It's hilarious. It's like her cat in like this like grooming cone thing, and he looks like grumpy but not grumpy. It's really cute. But the reason I think about it is because they built up the painting by doing like an underpainting underneath. which is where you put like light, like more washed out colors on your canvas to define where values are going to be. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding of underpainting. So like in the darker areas, maybe you would have like a darker kind of color, and then maybe you'd have a lighter one. But it's a wash, so like it's easily covered up. So she did her wash in like this red, and then like brought I think like some blues and greens out when she was actually painting her cat. But you can still see the red in the end, and it really like helps everything pop because it's like something that's there but not there. That's kind of what that red makes me think of more. So
Wow.
that's my critique.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. And I wanted to give you the opportunity to promote yourself in this video. So if you have basically any way that people can like find your work or even buy your work or whatever.
Well, I mean, I don't have my card with me right now. I don't know if that would work anyway, but like if you Google Christine Kern Artist, I should be the first one that comes up.
We'll put in the description.
Oh, perfect. That'd be great.
That helps.
Yeah, you can put a link to my website. And then if you're in Dayton, there's the Front Street Studios, which is where I have a studio at. So I'm in like the 100 building. In the BC door on the 3rd floor, there's the Blue Circle Gallery. So it's a Blue Circle Studio. It's a shared studio space with me and 3 other wonderful artists. So actually this Sunday, we have the 3rd Sunday event that's happening from 11 to 4. So I'll be there selling stuff and just talking to people. It's always fun. I love meeting people there, and I like when people get to see my work and stuff like that. So that's something that's coming up. But just for Front Street in general, there's always the first Friday events. The following Saturday we're open, and then the 3rd Sunday. So that's where I am. I do commissions, but I would also just like to sell the things I already have.
Wow, thank you, Christine.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I'm so happy to have you on the podcast. And if it's all right, I'm gonna promote something of mine as well.
Go for it.
Go to my website or our website, Lily and I's website, clairvoyanceyoga.com. Sign up for our membership, our Yoga Sphere membership, and then also go ahead and there is an event happening that same Sunday, but it's at 7.
Okay.
So if you wanted to go to Christine's event and then come to mine, then you know what I mean. And Lily will be there. We're going to do some yoga in the park, so feel free to stop on by. But until next time, bye everybody.